Good evening. This is homework 2, powers of monomials and geometric applications. I'll try to liven this one up a little bit. I'm going to go kind of fast, but if I show you the answers here, we're simplifying the following monomials. If I think about my product rule and then my power rule, I have x to the 4th inside the parentheses, and then that whole term is being raised to a power of 2. So my power of a power rule tells me I need to multiply these two numbers together. So I'm going to end up with x to the 8th. Number 2 looks like the same thing. I have k to the 5th, but all of that raised to the 9th. So I'm simply multiplying 9 times 5. I have m squared n to the 7th, and that whole term I am cubing. So I have to think about my m is going to be 2 times 3, so m to the 6th power. And then my n term is going to be to the 21st because I have 7 times 3. For number 4, just to be clear that you are raising that whole term to w to the 3rd power, you're raising that entire term to the 6th power. So in essence, if I think about the commutative property, that means that I am raising 2 to the 6th power, which is 64. And then I have my w term that's going to be w to the 18th because I'm multiplying 6 times 3. For number 5, same thing applies. I have my term 3y cubed, and I'm raising that whole term to the 4th power. So I have to be sure that I have my 3 to the 4th power, which is in essence 9 squared, which is 81. And then I have my y, which is going to be 3 times 4 to the 12th power. For number 6, I am squaring, if I think about it, I am squaring negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. And then I'm raising my x squared to the 2nd power, which results in x to the 4th, so 16x to the 4th power. There's a little bit of work here for number 7. I have a negative 5y cubed, and I'm cubing that whole thing. So I'm cubing negative 5, which results, and that's a good one to remember and to memorize. 5 cubed is always 125. But if I have an odd number of terms and they're all negative, I'm going to end up with a negative value, which is negative 125. And then I have y third raised to the 3rd, so y to the 9th power. This one could be a little bit tricky, but I have negative a 9th. I'm raising that all to the 4th power, so 9 times 4 is 36. It's an even number, so that means that the coefficient is actually going to be positive. So positive 1, if you want to think about it that way, and then b to the 4th. For number 9, this could be tricky, but I am, let's see, I have a 7th power outside of a half. So I am really putting 1 half to the 7th power. Apologies for that. I can't even read my own handwriting. That's what happens when I don't have my glasses. Okay. So I have a half, and I'm raising it to the 7th power. And when I do that, I'm going to end up multiplying 2 by itself 7 times, which results in 128. So my fraction ends up being 1 over 128. And then I have x to the 4th raised to the 7th. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 4, which is 28. Number 10, here I have an additional constant outside of the parentheses raised to a power. So I'm going to hold on to my 2 over here for just a minute. I'm just going to keep it there. And then I'm going to write this out because I'm going to have 3 cubed. That's where I'm getting the cubed from, which results in 27. That's another great one to memorize. And then I have a to the 6th power. So that one's easy to kind of get out of the way. But then I have to take care of my 2 again. So I'm multiplying 2 by that 27 that I got from cubing my 3, a to the 6th power, and if I double 27, I end up with 54. That's how I get that one. Over here, I have a half out here. And then I'm going to do my community property here. I'm going to raise 4 to the second power. So I'm going to get rid of that first, which is 16. And I have k to the 10th power because I'm multiplying 5 times 2. So then I end up here with basically a half of 16. And I like, if I see a fraction that I'm multiplying against a whole, I can always say a half of, because of means multiply, which is 8. So I'm going to end up with 8k to the 10th power. For number 12 here, oh, I had to go outside of the box here. So outside of the parentheses, I have my 6. I'm just going to keep that out there for right now. And then I have 2/3 that I am going to cube, which ends up in 8/27. So I'm going to multiply really those by themselves 3 times. So I end up with 8/27. And then I'm going to hold on to my p to the 24th over here. I'm going to come back to that. Notice it's down here. But here, I'm just going to multiply these fractions across. And I can cross simplify here. So I'm going to end up with 2 times 8, which is 16, over 9. I'm going to hold on to my negative sign here. And that becomes an improper fraction, negative 16 over 9, p to the 24th. You could, in essence, write a mixed number, but you don't need to, actually, in this circumstance. Why don't we end there? I'll just show you the answers really quickly because I'm getting tired. And I can't see anymore, but there's that term. Lots of m's, n's, m's, and n's. I have that term. I did a little bit more work there. Hopefully, if you need to zoom in on what I did, you can. But again, I like to take the constants out and basically operate on those constants before I do my exponents. But it may have been a little bit trickier there. But take a good look at that. Here's my work for this one. So I know that I'm going to end up 8 because I have 2 to the cubed. Okay. I'll just show you these 2 at a time. You can see on the bottom here that I did some additional work here. I did show how I multiplied basically 1/6 times negative 18, negative 1/6 times negative 18. So I'm going to end up with, negative 18. I'm going to square that first. I'm going to get 324. This is not raised to a power, so I get to hold on to the 6th. So that's how I get my positive 324 because I am squaring negative 18. Positive 324. And then I'm multiplying that by 1/6. When I multiply them together, I'm going to cross cancel because 6 fits into 324 54 times. I'm going to hold on to my negative sign though from the 1/6, and I'm going to end up with negative 54. Cruising here. There you go. And if you need to pause, you can, but there is some of my simplifying. I hope this helped.